So, tell me something terrible.
The clap.
Now we're...
The clap. Sorry.
Was that supposed to be like the claw?
Yes.
But for venereal disease? Mm-hmm. Slash the way we audio sync between the video and audio?
Yep.
Okay. Also...
Did you hit record on the video? I
did.
Pod?
Look at us go.
Look at us go.
Small disclaimer. If you hear explosions in the background...
It's because we've entered the Civil War number 2.
Yes. No, it's 4th of July weekend, and we live within a weird proximity of a lot of like lakes and stuff, so...
Yeah, and there's enough people like in the country around us that have enough land that just shoot them off.
Like, pew pew.
Yep.
Yep. So, if you hear explosions, ignore them.
We promise we're being safe. Mm-hmm. Safe word, ocelot.
Yes. Slash. Well.
We don't have a safe word. We don't puss out. We don't have safe words.
No. You just black out. Just kidding.
That's when I know to stop, when the breathing stops.
Wow. Okay. This is how tonight's going to go?
Yep.
Quick shout out.
Yes.
We have another patron. And
we do.
She's not technically on the shout out tier, but we don't care about that.
Not right now.
All patrons get shouted out. Yeah. Yeah. Until I don't see a point where we get to where not all patrons get shouted out.
Yeah.
But thank you. Was it Allie K?
Allie K.
Let me confirm that. Allie K. For your patronage. We appreciate it.
Yes.
And hopefully you're busy listening to all the backlog of bonus episodes.
Where Scott mumbles his way through it and I just blank out and listen.
Okay, yeah. I have to do a lot of talking after I do a lot of researching. It's not my strong suits whatsoever.
I'm just teasing you. You do wonderful.
Thank you. In the one that came out, what's that, 2 days ago, on the end of the June bonus episode, at the end of that episode, I literally said, I'm going to make a comment in the next episode when we get a patron that's someone we don't personally know that's going to feel like a big milestone in the podcast.
Yep.
And then today, I think it was today, we got a patron that's someone we don't know. So
do you know what the heathens call that?
Manifesting.
Look it up.
That's some TikToker you show me sometimes.
Yeah.
Once. But yeah, so that's really cool. So thank you for your patronage.
Yes, we appreciate it.
And Dano, we're sending out your pin this week, hopefully. It's holiday weekend. I didn't get sent out yet.
Okay.
She doesn't get it.
You're in charge of that.
Yeah. He bumped his, I don't know what he started at, but he bumped it up to a $5 one. And I was like, bro, we had to order these in bulk. You're getting a pin.
Yeah, you are.
So, and it's the first one we've had to ship.
No.
That's not the first one we
shipped? We
shipped?
didn't see the Sherry's until after.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anywho.
Man, now there's ambulances? You guys, somebody's missing at least one finger.
It's like we live in the city.
It is really concerning to hear ambulances in the 4th of July.
After the 4th of July.
Yeah, because during the 4th of July in the country, because somebody just got fucked up. Like fucked up. Because most of the time you just get up and you brush it off and it's fine. Like you're either going to have a house fire or someone's missing like a thumb.
Also, our dog she's struggling with between the fireworks and the
sirens.
She
needs a Zanny.
She's fine.
Just gonna give you a little bit of an edible. You'll be okay.
No,
no, that would be tragic.
Yes,
dogs don't like that.
And she just moved my microphone.
Oh no! You ready? Are you ready?
I am very much ready to start.
Hi, I'm Tiffany.
Hi, I'm Scott.
I almost missed that part.
Did you?
And you're listening to Tell Me Something Terrible.
Yeah, yeah. Good job. Way to bring it all back around.
Oh, she's gonna struggle the whole podcast because of the poor fireworks. The big titty baby.
Yep. All right. So what are we talking about this week? 4th of July?
Nope.
Oh
no.
I thought you might go like historical, not patriotic, but historical.
I have an idea eventually. Maybe we'll see.
Next July.
We'll start with a quote, like every good 9th grader in speech class does.
Do they?
Yep.
Okay.
When you write your speeches for Anyway, quote. We hope.
Mood.
Yes. So we hope the oxygen will keep you breathing on your own. He continued. The doctor. If not, a respirator will help you. I looked to where he pointed, and a wave of horror poured over me as I realized respirator was another name for what was popularly called an iron lung.
Are we going back to tuberculosis?
Nope.
Okay.
I thought it would be like being in a coffin where you're still alive. Now an iron lung loomed beside my bed, hoses hanging like tentacles, a gray octopus ready to swallow me at any moment. And that was from Peg Keyhart, recalling I'm having polio in...
Oh, okay.
Yep. And that quote was from 1996.
Marco.
Polio.
I just named the episode, by the way.
So The first recorded instance of polio can be traced back to Egypt, depicted in a tomb painting of a man with a withered leg using a walking stick. It didn't really make itself part of the cultural milieu until 1789, when a British physician first provided a physical description of it.
Do they know when that painting, the Egyptian one, was from?
I couldn't find a date. Shallow dives.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was just like, if 1789...
I'm sure they carbon dated it and it was
what
back
did they say
thousands
was up
of years.
the picture?
It was ancient Egypt.
Yeah, but what was in the picture?
It was a man with like a withered, atrophied leg and a walking stick. And then it didn't get described until the first time until 1789.
That just seems like it could be like a birth defect.
This is the first recorded instance that they think, no. Because it's usually associated with hieroglyphs that have written
with it.
A lot of diseases. Like when I listen to this podcast will kill you. They're like there's like one source that they quote that's literally thousands of years old. That it first gets described. Yeah. Things get described in, so they know there's context. Okay. They're not just like that guy's got a bum leg. It must be polio.
Yep.
But it wasn't really known like widespread until 1789, when a British physician first provided a physical description of it. In 1840, a set of symptoms associated with the disease was finally recorded, including its effect on the spinal cord.
Okay.
And then in 1890...
I don't know that much about polio, actually.
You're going to learn.
Am I? Good.
Yep. So...
Good. It's going to be a good joke podcast.
Yeah,
Polio's super funny.
Do you know what it usually affects?
Apparently your legs and your spinal cord.
Children.
Oh.
All under 5. Mostly under 5.
You're hitting all the comedic elements.
Yeah, real funny.
Yeah.
Real funny.
Mm-hmm.
Just those dead baby jokes will be lining
yuck.
up. So by 1894, the United States had its first official outbreak in Vermont with 132 people infected.
Sorry.
1894.
Okay.
Okay.
So all right.
Oh, we never mentioned the drink that we made tonight.
Oh, we did.
In honor of polio.
Okay. We're in our 30s. So we won't talk about how long it took to make the TikTok we made to make one drink, and that it almost led to a divorce. But the TikTok is up.
Yes, and...
Shamelessly plugging our TikTok.
I got left to try to figure out how to edit the video while he got to go play catch with the kid in the yard.
We were both playing to our strengths.
Yeah,
okay?
It's true.
Let's be honest here.
I also think I'm in a little bit of a flare-up, like a gluten flare-up, so I'm a little snippy.
Is that what you call it?
Yes.
Okay. But no, what was it called? It's called a gin. It's a gin smash.
Yes, it's a gin smash.
Which means we smash some mint.
Yep. Freshly cut from the garden.
Into some sugar tonic. Mm-hmm. And then we added ice and gin and lemon peel and an orange slice.
Yes.
And how was it? Out of 10?
It was better once I put the orange, squeezed the orange into it.
Muddled the orange a little. Mm-hmm. What do you give out of 10? No Ricky scores. I need a decimal.
Like a 7.1.
Okay.
More like a 6.
I would say the 7s, if we come up with an unofficial scale, 7s are if someone makes it for you, drink it. An 8 range would be you should make it yourself. 9 is that should be your go-to drink, and 6 is meh.
Okay, then yes, I'll stand by the original 7.1.
Okay. Yeah. If someone made it for you, drink it. But
yeah, and it's not bad, but I wouldn't make it like this is pretty good.
It's not going to replace a mule for you.
A lot of you got a calorie count. A lot of it it's not worth the effort to put into it. So if someone made me, yes, but I wouldn't go out of my way to put that much effort for a decent drink. I just got to be like a bomb drink to put this much effort into it.
I don't know what our TikTok handle is. It's at Tell Me Something Terrible, right?
Sure, why not?
Yep, Tell Me Something Terrible.
Anyway.
If you want to see the drink.
I chose this drink out of our vintage book from 1941 with all of these ridiculous recipes.
Most of which have raw egg in them.
Ugh.
A lot of them do, at least.
We're going to try to delve into that a little deeper. But I chose this because, do you know the one president who favors gin cocktails who had polio?
Grover Cleveland. No, I have no idea.
Think Hoover Dam. FDR.
Okay.
Yeah. FDR had polio. Okay. He got it when he was 39.
Okay.
That's why he was in a wheelchair.
He wasn't 5.
No, there's 35% of people over 5 get, or over adults get it. Did you know that he was in a wheelchair?
Yes.
Okay. And you still went with Grover Cleveland?
I just picked the most random president I could think of.
We've only had one president in a wheelchair. It must have been Cleveland.
I went with just a name that came to mind.
Interesting choice.
You talked about Vermont. I was in like the north.
City naming.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Sure. He's like, there was logic there, I swear.
Cleveland is right next to Vermont on a map.
Geographical novices.
Yes.
Going through some geographical trauma.
I will admit, on TikTok, there's this guy that shows up in my For You stuff constantly, and he's like, he does that thing where like they drop you on like Google Earth, to identify where it's at. I find that shit fascinating.
Really?
Yeah, he can tell you like where he's at in like 5 seconds. It's bonkers.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Anyway,
tell me more.
No. I'll show you on TikTok later.
So we're talking about polio.
Yep, polio. Yep.
And President Cleveland.
No.
So polio
President Hoover Dam.
I thought he was a senator.
Right.
So polio is extremely contagious, with roughly 72 people not even presenting symptoms, but still able to spread the virus for weeks after contracting it. So 25% of people will have mild flu-like symptoms that typically include fever, fatigue, headache, vomiting, stiffness in the neck, and pain in the limbs, which usually resolve within 2 to 5 days.
Okay.
And then 1 to 5 out of every 1,000 cases result in paralysis, some temporary and some permanent. And then 2 out of 100 of those cases result in death because of the virus manages to make it to muscles in your chest and diaphragm. So out of the 1 out of 5 of 1,000 cases that turns to paralysis, there's 2 out of 10 of those specific instances where people die.
So 2 out of 10 is 1 out of 5 also. So
It's
1
less
out of
than
5 out of 1 out of 5.
Yeah, and it winds up being less than 1%, but it's of people that get infected with it die of paralysis. Yeah. It's just still it just makes you feel like if I get to this case, I the spot where my body starts shutting down, I have a 2% chance of dying of it.
Nice.
Which is kind of scary,
A little bit.
I know people are like, 2%, that's not much. You'd be like, would you like to have a disease that slowly kills you and shuts down all of your muscles and you have any percent of dying from it? Because it all sounds horrible.
Yeah. Let's not take any risk.
So, the muscles in their chest and diaphragm stop moving. And like I mentioned, most of the people that are infected are under the age of 5. So they're children.
Communication skills are going to be rough at that age.
So polio is transmitted by the oral fecal route.
Ooh. Everyone's favorite.
So this means that it passes out of the human body in our poop, and then flecks of that poop make its merry way onto objects that make it into your hands, and then your hands into your mouth.
Oh, same way Hep A works.
Or if you're a child, it bypasses that middle step, and those contaminated objects just go straight in your mouth.
Yeah. You're just
It's why we Clorox everything.
Well, for the most part, yeah.
So it then moves from your mouth down into the intestinal tract. That was a big one.
That was a big firework, yes.
Yeah.
I was looking around. I was like, can I see it out the windows?
So anyway, it makes its way into the intestinal tract, and then from there into the bloodstream, and is carried to the central nervous system, where it replicates and destroys the motor neuron cells within hours, making thousands of replicas. And then when it explodes out of the cell, and it moves on to the next one.
It's a very efficient virus, eh?
Very.
That's pretty quick.
And you start as soon as you get infected spreading it.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's no incubation period?
Nope. It's not wait until it shows up with symptoms. No, you start spreading it for 2 weeks. Yep.
Fun. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so no one to this day understands why someone is just asymptomatic and why someone just winds up with total body paralysis. There's no definitive.
Viruses are weird like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We know.
Yeah, well, and DNA and viruses are both. Yeah, their interactions very seemingly random.
Yeah, we should probably put a trigger warning. Hey, if you're still struggling with COVID, this might be triggering.
Right. Yeah.
So rarely it can spread through respiratory droplets. Everyone's current, favorite way of spreading a fast and deadly virus.
Yeah.
Yep. And by the time that 1916 rolls around, another huge epidemic hits the United States because there was one in Vermont. And this one hit New York City. There were over 9,000 cases and 2,343 deaths.
Okay. That's a smaller number than I actually thought you were going to say.
Yeah. Because it's not like a super high killer. It's just when it spreads very quickly, so it winds up with higher amounts.
Yes.
And so nationwide, the cases had climbed to 27,000 with the deaths of 6,000 people.
Okay.
So it's not too bad. It comes in bursts.
Like
it's
pockets.
not, yeah, it's not like the one we're in now where it's 2.5 years later and people are still getting it. Like it comes in like seasons. It happens mostly in the summer, and you'll have like a few years where it's super chill, and then all of a sudden it'll spike up again because one kid gets it.
Still?
We're going to get to it.
Okay, I was going to say, you were talking very present tense about this virus.
We're going to get to it. Very get to it, like very present tense.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, 2 to 5 the people that die. Anyway, found my spot. Okay. 2 to 5% of paralysis polio cases are like for children die, and then 10 to 20% of the adults die. Okay. So there's a higher chance if you get it as an adult that you're going to die from it. There were inspection stations at railroad stations, ferries, and boat landings outside of New York City along the Delaware River, checking for certificates of health for anyone underneath the age of 16.
All right.
So, again, guys, this is not our first time
it's a little
around.
Trigger warning.
Yeah. But also, like, you can't be like, this is my constitutional.
I think it's
like,
crazy.
I shouldn't have to have this, bro. They've done this a shit ton of times.
I can't believe it's only for under 16.
It's because they're the ones that spread it the most.
Yeah, it's just like that mindset's very crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it could be an adult that's asymptomatic. Because more often than not, if you were asymptomatic, you were an adult.
Yeah. But just having like your 8-year-old have to have a health check before you can go across the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to it. So the country was faced with travel restrictions and quarantining. If a house was known to have a person infected with polio, the entire house had to quarantine. And not like, oh, you should stay here and quarantine out of like the goodness of your heart. It was like inspectors knocking on your door being like, you don't fucking leave the house.
And you weren't getting Taco Bell Grubhubbed.
Absolutely not. If your neighbors were nice, they were going to leave you a can of milk and some eggs on the front porch and be like, bye.
Can of milk?
Can. I guess. Yeah. Like I was thinking like can of condensed milk, things, they come in cans or jar. Back then there's no jug.
Yeah, I understand.
You're a dick. Yes, a can of milk. Don't you know that's where milk comes from, is cans?
Yeah.
And just like, do you ever have the bags of milk?
Well, if you're a lady, they come from cans.
You mean cans? Did you ever get the jug, like at Napoleon, and when you were in elementary school, did you ever get the little bags of milk? Did you ever do that?
I never bought school lunch.
Did the school ever do that, though? Instead of cartons, they used bags?
No.
Michigan Center did that 1 year? Mm-hmm. 1 year. Just one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like a giant Capri Sun, but it was milk. So it was a plastic bag that had a spot in the middle, a square in the middle. It was thinner, and you got straws and you shove it through it. So it was like a pillow with milk, and you had your straw that went in the middle.
Yeah.
And you got a bunch of elementary school students.
Yep.
Sound like that ended well, huh?
Yeah, like whoopee cushions full of milk.
Yeah.
It
lasted 1 year.
We were too poor for school lunch. That's how we rolled.
Yeah, but now they've got... You guys could have signed up for free lunch.
Yeah, my parents were oddly proud. Stubborn. Whatever you want to put it.
Okay. All right. Well, then what are we paying taxes for?
I took lunch. I was fine.
People don't take advantage of it. Wait, I know why we're paying taxes. It's not to feed the poor.
Bologna sandwiches. No big deal. I still like bologna.
I pocketed my school lunch money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then just didn't eat.
As a fat kid, that was not a choice for me. I was
also diabetic.
No, that was pre-diabetes.
Oh.
Was it a new pocket of bologna sandwich?
Yes.
Get attacked by a dog on my way home.
Like poor Rocco. So anyway, you're faced with restrictions, quarantining, you're forced to stay in your house. And then some outbreaks grew so bad that entire towns were quarantined. So you weren't allowed to leave your town. Like everybody. They were like, sorry, you're stuck in this bubble.
Yeah.
And then once the child was taken to a hospital, that child was not allowed to come in contact with their parents or any other family member. There are stories of children being wheeled over to windows just to wave at their parents from the hospital yards while they were under 24/7 care.
Well, that's horribly sad.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that visual.
There's a website you can go to. and to get all your wonderful information.
MakeYouCry.com.
Yeah, and then but kind of like flecked very heavily throughout the whole website. There's just little paragraphs of like quotes from people remembering their experiences. And there was like a little boy, he found out later after his parents died that they'd said like some holy prayer like every single time. His dad would be like waving, like praying for him while he was like in the hospital. He was like 5, 8.
Yeah.
He's a really young kid.
This is MakeYouSad.com.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yes. No, it's actually from the Smithsonian.
Mm-hmm. How legit.
I try. So, another quote from nurse practitioner. Oh, no, I meant to move this. You don't get this quote yet.
Okay.
Just kidding. So, polio only grew...
Dramatic pause.
Yes, dramatic. Foreshadowing. Not even like subtle. You're going to get this later. Don't let me forget to scroll up.
Okay. So...
And polio only grew throughout the rest of the 20th century. By 1952, the U.S. had hit its highest peak with 57,628 reported cases, outbreaks causing 15,000 cases of paralysis each year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's that 1 in 5 we're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So then they were noticing adults starting to have signs of paralysis decades after recovery.
That's a fun twist.
Mm-hmm.
It's like shingles.
Mm-hmm. This was dubbed post-polio syndrome. 25 to 40% of people infected with polio developed post-polio syndrome. So even if you were asymptomatic, you'd be like, I was fine. I don't know why you can't walk. And then like 20 years later, just drag your feet.
Buckle up for 20 years from now, COVID folks.
30, seriously.
Right?
Yeah, it might. Well, you never know. It's been almost 2 years and I still can't smell. So...
Comes in waves.
So you thought you were fine living your best life, and then all you had was like a little headache, and you're fine, and then all of a sudden you're dragging your feet.
Yep.
It's actually slower than that. It can develop 15 to 40 years after recovery from polio. Polio. Oh my gosh, I'm going to fuck it up. You should have seen how many times I got spell corrected in
right?
in Google Docs. So
I should have wore a polo for this episode.
Missed out. So 15 to 40 years after you've recovered, you can develop it. It is a slow progressive disease that usually doesn't kill you.
Okay.
It just makes your life miserable with fatigue, both just general malaise and muscle fatigue, slow progressive muscle weakness and atrophy, loss of muscle function, pain from joint deterioration, and increasing skeletal deformities like scoliosis.
That's what Post Malone needs tattooed next. Instead of always tired, he needs general malaise.
Yeah.
Just underneath that. Yeah.
Once he finally gets that PhD.
Yeah.
Has
kind of class it up a little bit.
Yep, he has to really expand his vernacular.
Yeah, you need a really classy face tattoo.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. When we go to our protest on Sunday, that's what I'm going to put. I mean, instead of putting my body, my choice, I'm just going to put general malaise on my face. So for some people, it's only minors. Others, it's extreme, requiring mobility aids like wheelchairs and ventilators. Mm-hmm. There is no cure, only maintenance by lifestyle changes, healthy diets, low impact, like chill exercises that don't cause pain, good sleep, and probably some therapy.
Okay.
Like legit therapy is suggested.
Okay.
That's not just being a smartass.
And not physical therapy. You're talking
like mental, just to make sure you're as optimistic as you possibly can, knowing that eventually you're going to die from like paralysis.
Yep.
So polio itself, when it progressed to the more serious stages of the disease, when muscles were paralyzed, it was treated with a little more creativity to keep the lungs and heart working and to keep muscles staying healthy. So lumbar punctures or spinal taps were used to relieve pressure on the brain from accumulating fluid and was also used as a quick tool for diagnosis.
Okay.
So typically, two people would hold a child in the C position with their head at their knees on their left side and slip an 18-inch needle.
Wouldn't that go through a child that small?
This is what this guy described. Like he remembers this happening to him.
That's like as long as their spine.
Yeah, well, because it goes up and they draw it out. Mm-hmm. So he said 18-inch needle between the plates of the spine for an hour or more to get a sample or to relieve pressure. Like he remembers having them draw it out for an hour.
That sounds miserable.
Mm-hmm. So hot packs made of strips of steaming wool were used to treat muscle spasms and the intense pain associated with polio.
Polio.
Look, every fucking time.
I'm here for you.
I'm just gonna say Marco, and you're gonna fill it in for me.
Okay.
So this allowed the tense muscles, described by one survivor as tight as the string in a tennis racket. When your muscles are that tight, you can't move anything.
Oh, that's how Phil describes my traps when I go get a massage.
Yeah, like strings. Yeah, and now you've got that spot in the front.
Yeah. He's like, I can play the bass guitar on your traps. I'm like, you're welcome. He's like, that's not a compliment. I was like, that's fine.
So the heat packs help the muscles to relax enough to become mobile again.
Okay.
Usually it was just a few days. Mm-hmm. An injection called intocrostrin. It was used as an alternative to the hot packs to stop muscle spasms. And it was derived from a poison called curare.
Yep. Is that popular amongst pirates?
Yes.
Kirar. That is a horrible joke. Do not laugh at that.
It was funny. They also used rocking beds, which were used to keep the lungs moving. Rocking beds. Not this way. Not the nice, gentle, soothing, like rocking side to side. The other way.
Like a rocking chair.
No, head to feet.
Yeah, like a rocking chair.
Uh-huh. But you were literally going down at a 45-degree angle. And then going back up into your feet at a 45-degree angle.
Oh, so it's like one of those horrible ship things that you ride at the fair.
Yes, it's literally... no, because those slide back and forth. There's like a pivot point in the middle, and it's literally like a seesaw.
Oh, so you're sleeping on like an ab lounge.
Yes. Yes, it's literally a seesaw, just a long stiff, and they'd strap you to it, and they would tilt your head up and then tilt your feet down.
That's fun.
And the point was to use gravity to
why not just have you sleep hanging from your feet like a bat at that
because
point?
You have to compress the air back out, so you would use gravity when you were tilted to your feet. Mm-hmm. The gravity would pull from your organs, would pull your diaphragm downward, expanding your lungs to pull air in, and then they would tilt you upside. Yeah, people lived. This, like, literally the facts I'm getting right now,
sleep for 9 days straight. But they lived.
This guy, a dude, was recalling being strapped to the rocking bed, and then they had like a time-lapsed photo of it. And so they would take you from your feet to pull your diaphragm down to expand your lungs to bring in air, and then they would tilt you upside down, and that pressure would then put, like, your organs would put pressure against your diaphragm to expel the air. Uh-huh. And that's how that's how they started doing it.
Yep. Modern engineering.
So now that I described that entire thing. Okay, typically after a couple weeks or more, about a couple weeks, most people would recover from the temporary paralysis, but not all.
Okay.
So then in 1927 came the iron lung. Yep. Formerly known, medically.
It introduced itself as, I am iron lung.
Dun, dun. And that's what it sounds like. Yep.
Anyway. Yep.
It just hums that's its...
Yeah. When you
turn
it
its
on.
theme song.
Yeah, you turn it on, it's like...
So this is like formally known, like by medical terms, as the tank respirator.
Okay. They like get inside of an iron lung,
They
right?
do.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. So 2 men from Harvard devised a tank that was powered with a motor that had 2 vacuum cleaners attached to it to draw in and air out of an airtight, air in and out of an airtight metal box that would then cause the air to be drawn in and out of your lungs. Mm-hmm. So it was refined by...
I remember seeing one of these in a movie.
Yeah. Probably.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what movie. I remember seeing them too.
I feel like... Anyway, I'll think of it. I think it was the movie about the guy who figured out the code breaker thing for the World War II. The cipher thing.
Those were Native Americans.
No, there was a guy...
Oh, no, they weren't the code breakers. The Native Americans were the ones that wrote the code.
Yeah, for the Americans. This was the ones that... The guy that broke the German code.
Sure.
Anyway, I feel like he ended up in an iron lung. Anyway...
Doesn't matter. That'd be about the right time.
Yeah. I don't remember his name. I remember
watching something about it in high school.
That movie?
Maybe.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Good talk.
Literally doesn't matter. Wow. Our cultural references are on point this episode.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know Benedict Cumberbatch plays the guy.
Really?
And that's all I can remember.
Okay. Look, you're getting there.
I'm going to figure out what the movie's called.
Or you're just making it completely up.
These are lies.
So it was refined by a man named John Emerson, cutting the cost of the machine in half. It was made of a metal cylinder with portholes on the side where you would stick the whole body in, except for the neck up. There'd be a little rubber thing around the neck. What is it?
The name of the movie is Imitation Game. I'm not saying that's where the iron lung thing came into effect, but
Well,
It was
I'm glad
Alan
you-
Turing's the guy that cracked the Nazi code on the Enigma.
So it was the Nazis. You were right.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, good job.
Thank you. See?
What a hero. Not
Anyway.
you, that guy. So John Emerson refined it. It cut the cost of the machine in half, which doesn't really matter because it was still cost as much as the house.
Wait, what? It costs as much as a house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Could you live in the... any?
Yes, you had to. You
Good.
literally, like, you might be able to get trained off of it, and most people will sometimes can stay a few hours out of it, but
Yeah.
you usually, spend most of your time in it.
Oh.
So yeah, back then a house cost an average of $1,500, and that's how much an iron lung cost.
Oh, so there might have been like a...
That was your choice. You either get a house or an iron lung.
Well, I mean, if you're not living
In this
though,
housing market, I'd take an iron lung.
Right.
Just kidding. We're very lucky. Anyway, like you said, you're inside of it. You just have your head sticking out. There are portholes on the side, allowing patients to, not patients, the people, your aide.
Doctors, nurses?
Yes. Yep. To reach in and like adjust your body because you can't move, your sheets, put hot packs, everything on. And you laid on this sliding bed that was colloquially known as the cookie tray.
Oh, not where I thought you were going with that. Why?
I don't know. I'm sure doctors have a very sad, sick, dark sense of
Nope, I
humor.
won't settle for I don't know. Why is the sheet you sit on called the cookie tray?
I don't know.
Are you brown
Take
on
a
the
wild
bottom when
guess.
you take it off?
I don't know.
Do you leave little chocolate chips behind?
That could be it.
Anyway.
I mean, people do need to, and if you don't have control over your muscles,
That's true.
you don't know what's going on in
No.
there. So anyway, in 1959, there were 1,200 people in iron lungs in the United States. And then by 2004, there were 39.
Well, wait, we're still using these? Mm-hmm. Or we were?
Hold on. Oh, my quote. I have to get back to my quote.
Scroll up.
Yep, from the nurse practitioner.
Yes.
Her name was Lynn Dunphy. This is about the iron lungs.
Okay.
The nurses caring for patients in iron lungs had to be attuned to their respiratory needs at all time to keep them alive, which meant being with the patient physically and psychologically. Decisions had to be made regarding suctioning posterior drainage. So, like,
Okay.
yeah, your body drainage, giving oxygen, and the need for emergency tracheostomies, and nurses had to make these minute-to-minute decisions.
That sounds terrible. Mm-hmm. And what about the cookie trays?
That's clearly why they have drainage.
Yeah.
So, by 2004, back to the stats, there were 39 people still using them.
It's crazy.
Hold on. Martha Lillard is about the last person to be using an iron lung as of October 2021. This is when she was interviewed.
Okay.
Most people...
What are your thoughts on COVID? Just kidding.
We'll get to it.
Oh, will we? Okay, cool.
Most people have moved on past the iron lung, but she finds it the most comfortable breathing solution for her. She sleeps in it every night so she can get out for a few hours, but she can't do it forever to breathe. So the problem for her, though, is trying to find replacement parts as the lung breaks down, which happened in the 1990s. She called around to museums, but they had either pitched their lungs already or were unwilling to part out the ones that they had on exhibition because, she's actively using it.
Well,
but
nowadays
keeping it is way more important.
Nowadays they can just do like a 3D mold printing, and
Yeah, that's true. So there's another man who still uses the iron lung. His name is Paul Alexander. He's the only other person left in the United States besides Martha who's using it.
Okay.
So he does manage also to get a few hours out of the day to breathe on his own, and then he goes back inside of it at night. And
So these people have polio still.
There's still. I mean, the polio's gone.
Yeah, they're not
but
infectious.
Yes, this is very long term.
Yeah.
Effects.
Long polio, we call it.
Yeah. Yes. Again, watch out in 20 years, guys. We might start dragging our feet for our long haul
Yeah.
COVID patients. So yeah, he definitely, there was an interview that he did from the article that I used that I forgot to write down. So I'm going to say it now. It was like from the Grunge or something like that, where he was talking about There are people when right in the thick of it, they were seriously considering bringing iron lungs back because it was cheaper to make an iron lung like from scratch like right now than it is to make a ventilator right now.
Well, I mean, you said it's a metal box and some 2 vacuum cleaners. We could probably make that here.
Yeah. That was the protocol, the initial design.
It'd just be like a steampunk,
but his biggest
coffin at that point. But
his biggest fear, steampunk coffin. You can really deck it out like this one's black and red
fittings
and
on it. Yeah.
So he said his biggest fear is seeing a room full of lung coffins again because that's what it was. They literally would have people lined up in lung coffins just in these little angles and just nurses walking between them.
Yep.
It's crazy. So, what's wrong?
Sorry, we just had our black cat just appear.
So, good news is there's obviously a vaccine for polio. So there's 2 actually, and it's 99 to 100% effective. One is an injection and one is oral. Bad news, there are cases of vaccine-derived polio, which occurs when a country's population is severely immunized.
Okay.
And it's a mutated version of the weakened virus found in the vaccine, and that's what spreads through the community if there's like too little of amount of people to be vaccinated to be effective, which we know is about 85%.
So it's the unherd immunity.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like how COVID is literally working right now.
Sorry, I thought unheard was funny.
It is funny.
Thank you.
That's why I was snarky with it.
I workshopped that for 30 seconds over here before I said it.
But these spreads are super rare. They usually don't happen. So there are 3 types of regular polio. There's type 2 and 3 that are fully eradicated from the planet.
Okay.
So type 2 in 2015 and type 3 in 2019, thanks to the vaccines, had been fully eradicated.
Okay.
So the paralysis cases caused by polio in the U.S. alone dropped from an average of 15,000 a year in the 50s to just 10 a year in the 70s. And then polio cases themselves were cut in by 99% since 1988 worldwide. So this fell from 350,000 cases to an average of 33 cases reported in 2018.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it plummeted.
A little bit, yeah.
It's like vaccines work, right?
It's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So type 1 polio has been eradicated from the Americas in 1994.
All right.
Like we were not polio free until 94. We were in kindergarten.
Yep. Were we?
I was.
I was 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So next was the Western Pacific region, which is like parts of Asia, China, the Philippines, and Australia. They were polio free in 2000.
Okay.
And then the European region in 2002, and then the Southeast Asia region in 2014, and then Africa in 2020.
Nice.
Yeah. But polio is still endemic in Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Oof.
Mm-hmm. There are 43 reported cases currently in Afghanistan and 11 in Pakistan, which I checked the numbers yesterday on July 1st.
Yeah.
It was only 10. So, like, there's been a case added already. And this shit spreads fast.
Yeah.
So, and not like it's like we need to panic because this has been an issue that they've been trying to condense.
Well, there's vaccines for it if need be.
Uh-huh.
What?
Yeah. So both of these countries are listed as an international concern because of the frequent travel in and out of the area. And if polio is not fully eradicated, it's estimated that there could be a potential for 200,000 cases yearly worldwide if polio does not remain contained. Mm-hmm. The problem is, we're getting to it. When a group of women aid workers arrived in Afghanistan in February of 2022, 5 were killed and 3 were injured in 2 different gun attacks just days after their arrival by the Islamic State group. Yep, they took responsibility for it. So even though there are vaccines,
they're going in to help.
Yeah, they're going to help. They're aid workers.
And yeah.
So even though there are vaccines, they're literally being murdered
before they can administer vaccines.
Yes. So
that's it's a bit of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And all this brings us to London. So UK health officials regularly analyze the city's wastewater as part of a routine surveillance program.
For cholera?
just everything. But cholera is a good one too.
Yeah.
London had a little bit of a problem with cholera in the 1800s.
I've heard there's no place like London. Sorry, that's a Sweeney Todd reference.
So they said they typically only have 1 to 3 polio detections per year, but they are all kind of one-offs, and the viral load quickly dissipates, indicating that the virus particles are from someone who is most likely vaccinated to go overseas. Because when you go to places, they want to they want to vaccinate you just in case you might bring something over.
Yep.
And it goes away because you peed out the dead virus, and then it's gone.
Yep. It's kind of how you can test positive for Hep B surface antigen after you get vaccinated for it.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Did you know that they can find COVID in wastewater?
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I was listening to an ologies, and she was talking to some sort of ologist who studies wastewater and infectious disease.
Environmental controls at the lab, like on surfaces and stuff, and you can find it on it lives outside of the body, so it's not surprising.
COVID?
Yeah, not for long, but for long enough to be detected.
I'm sorry, I'm panicking. Just inside, I'm freaking out just a little bit. That you guys have to do control. I mean, it makes sense. You probably have to do it on other surfaces outside of where it's tested.
Test for COVID. We test for
everything.
All of our molecular testing. Yeah, anything DNA based.
That's fun.
Like Hep C, viral loads.
And I let you sleep in the same bed as me.
I don't work in that department.
It's fine.
I'm more likely to go home with MRSA.
Yeah, no, and COVID. I still sleep in the same bed. I'm not worried about COVID at this point. I just got it a second time. I don't know what kind of weird-ass other diseases you're going to bring home.
I wear gloves and a lab coat. Don't lick my shoes, but other than that, we're fine.
The dog sniffs your shoes, though.
She's fine.
Oh, God. Anyway.
I rarely get anything on my shoes.
So, they found proof of polio. Not anymore, now that you don't work in urines.
I've never worked in urines.
Oh, you didn't work in urines?
No.
You told me never to touch your shoes because you've spilled stuff on them.
Well, people spill stuff on the floor sometimes.
Yuck.
Yuck.
Anyway.
The thing I spill the most is GN broth, which is a gram-negative selective medium that we put stool in because it helps weed out some of the normal flora in stool.
Pre or post-stooled?
What?
Are you spilling this pre or post?
It's a liquid that we put stool into, and then we inoculate that liquid onto plates to see what grows. And they're very tall, skinny tubes, and they fall over very easy.
I just want to make sure that you're doing this spilling. Is it done before or after you have put the stool?
It's usually the day after we put stool in it, so it's nice and ripe. But I know normally it's just on the counter. But I do knock them over once a week. They're tall and skinny. They don't balance well.
And you've just got some wild bows throwing them around, knocking over poop tubes.
It's more like my pinky will graze the tube.
Oh my God, it's a real poop shoot.
Right?
Oh God. Sorry.
Hey, at least it's selective media, so it doesn't have salmonella or shigella in it, so we're good. It's just E. coli will grow in it. We're fine.
Yeah, and E. coli almost killed me.
Yeah, well, it depends on E. coli. 0157 is the one you got to watch out for.
Is that the one?
Anyway, proceed.
Okay. So, enough poop talk. Let's talk about different kind of poop
Enough
talk.
shop talk.
So they find these polio in the sewers.
I'm out of beer. Let's keep it moving, all right?
So they found polio in the sewers.
Yep.
So it's different shit talk.
With the alligators?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, that's New York.
Yes. So usually they find cases, they disappear, and then it's gone.
Okay.
This time, though, health officials have repeatedly detected the type 2 polio virus in samples from February through May.
No, type 2 doesn't exist. You told me so.
Uh-huh. We're going to get to it.
I was listening. See?
Yep. So these samples indicate that the virus found in these samples is continuing to evolve and, quote, may be spreading between closely linked individuals in North or East and East London. They believe that this is from a vaccine-derived polio, but vaccine-derived polio can easily circulate through an or under-vaccinated population, which the UK has pockets of. So they think... Are we
vaccinated for polio still?
Nope.
I was going to say, I didn't think so. Mm-mm. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Proceed with your story.
Do you see where are you stepping in what I'm spreading?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boomers take over the world.
So, there hasn't been any reported cases yet.
Okay.
But virologists believe that it's just a small outbreak between just one extended family. So they think somebody got vaccinated and then they caught the.
And they got the
they got the vaccine derived polio
DNA marker that the
yes, and
vaccine
then somebody got like somehow there was a fecal oral transfer of that bacteria or virus into the other person.
It was ass eating season.
Well, that might be it.
I'm just saying.
But so there hasn't been any reported cases.
It's a long winter in London.
So no one's come forward and been like, oops.
Well, they'd have to explain themselves.
Yeah, they would.
Can you imagine on BBC Radio?
And so how did you contract? Could you, because that would be patient zero, because you're still getting, just in case, you're still getting inoculated with all three types. It's a trifecta of virals.
Vaccine.
Yes, in the vaccine. So could you imagine having to explain patient zero for type 2, which is like has been eradicated for 15 years, how it came back?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
like, damn it, Grandpa.
We don't kink shame around here. You do you.
Oh God. So like you were hinting at, there's potential for this to change. So we should all probs go get vaccinated just in case. Because, look how well we handled the last global pandemic that we were woefully underprepared for.
Although it sounds like most of the cases come from the vaccine in this case.
Yeah.
So maybe once it becomes a problem, then everyone can go get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we might just fuel the potential fire.
Yeah, because if there's so many people that are anti-vaccinated that don't want to get vaccinated, that the small handful of people that would risk spreading it to a higher percentage of unvaccinated people. Yeah. And it's almost like there's an efficacy
and I was
rate.
Like, can I get the polio vaccine? My doctor would 100% be like, why?
Where are you going?
Yeah.
Home.
I'm going to whatever you said, the Middle East. Clearly.
Pakistan. Duh.
Yeah.
Me and my white ass.
I say you said 2 countries. I don't remember which ones they were.
So,
Afghanistan and Pakistan, right?
Yes. Yep. See? They're still endemic there. Are you sure?
Yeah.
So, that's kind of where we're at today with polio in the world. There is a slight of, don't panic, but a slight, be prepared for it. And please don't be crazy and don't get vaccinated. You should do an
episode on the satanic panic. That'd be a fun topic. What? It'd be a fun topic.
Just want me to rage the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
So
it's good for the content.
Just so angry. So there's much more to this story. This is clearly just like, this is somehow
the rest of the story.
Absolutely not. So part of the story.
The hour and 45-minute long podcast about polio. Just kidding. It's not.
I had to double check. So there's lots more to the story, like FDR contracting polio at 39, saying later, quote, once you've spent 2 years trying to wiggle a toe, everything is in proportion. Yeah. Because his temporary, he was very weak from it, but his permanent.
Yeah, it's just a funny sentence. I'm going to laugh. I'm not laughing at his paralysis. I'm laughing at the sentence.
Well, I think, it was meant to make light out of, but also drive home the fact that, literally, guys, figure out life. Like, I just spent 2 years literally trying to wiggle my pinky toe, and y'all are fighting. Like, shut up.
As long as I can get, paralysis from the knee down and not the waist down, we'll be okay.
That would be a huge bummer for multiple parties involved.
Right? My softball career, just kidding.
That church softball team really needs you.
My broken nose. Just kidding.
So his having to overcome polio actually can be directly linked to the disability acts. So there were kids that weren't admitted to school because they were wheelchair bound and they weren't able to accommodate them. An author couldn't collect payments from the book he wrote about his brush with polio because he would earn too much money to continue to have access to his disability care. This is still a problem today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I had a client, I remember a few years ago, who was a licensed esthetician, but she wasn't practicing because she goes, well, how much do you make as an esthetician? And I was like, probably like about this much working for a medical spa. And she goes, oh, I can't make more than $1,000 a month or I'll lose my disability and my medication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely a percentage of people where it's cheaper for them to not have it, or more beneficial for them to not have a job.
Yep. Yeah. Because the alternative is that they lose the insurance that they use to cover thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of medication. Yeah. So he actually, when his book was released, he did a book burning of his own book.
Oh, that's
as
fun.
protest. Yeah. So there's also hot springs that popped up called warm springs that FDR swore had healing powers. So an entire community cropped up around them, specifically catered to like the quote handicapped, where disabled people were valued and allowed to live a normal life, but only if you were white. Black people were forced onto their own community in Tuskegee because that's not traumatic enough.
Okay.
Because you know about syphilis, right? And the Tuskegee Project?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't draw two and two together, but yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Where you
And
just decide not treat it. Yeah.
yes, even though there was a cure for it. And there's also a lot of research into how much money it would cost the economy if we had another global outbreak. They estimated between like $40 to $50 billion a year would be lost.
Okay.
So yeah, that's polio in a nutshell. A very large nutshell.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say.
So,
You have sources you need to get out of the way?
yeah.
Okay.
The CDC.
It's a good start.
Who?
Who? No,
H-
who?
Who?
Who? Okay.
Who? The polioeradication.org, and then American History SI.edu, Polio American Pandemic Communities. That's the Smithsonian Institute. And then that one article from Grunge that I forgot to write down.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good.
And that's polio.
All right.
If you've made it this far,
Congrats.
congrats.
And congrats if you don't have polio.
Yep.
There's a very good chance you don't.
Yes.
For now.
For
Just
now.
kidding. Just kidding.
Give it 10 years and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll have lots of other issues by
If
then.
not, if you're not expecting it, you've been warned.
Yeah.
They're going to come after us the way they came for Bill Gates and Obama when he said that we're expecting another outbreak. They'll be like, these two, they knew it was going to happen. It's all their fault.
Did you see the Bill Gates clip on, it wasn't Jimmy Fallon. It was one of the late night shows.
Noah? Trevor Noah?
No. It was, anyway, one of the, like, someone asked Bill Gates about, like, Area 51 and, like, aliens and all that stuff. Or not Bill Gates. Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
Anyway, I'll show you
Close.
the clip.
Bill Clinton,
I'll
Bill
show you
Gates.
the clip. It was pretty interesting.
It's confusing.
But,
Really?
yeah. Not like conspiratorially interesting. Just his response was anyway.
Well, look, in the middle of 2020, to try to distract us, they were like, hey, aliens are real, and no one batted an eye. They were like, fucking course they are, you
Right.
stupid assholes. And that was it.
Right?
So, yeah.
Anyway.
Welcome to the United States. It's been a long couple of years.
And, of course, because we're us, we'll shamelessly plug everything.
Yep.
We have a Twitter.
Yep.
At Team SD Pod. Facebook page.
Yep.
Which is sneaking up on 1,000 people.
And
So that'd be cool.
we are the proud owners of railhard69.net.
We are. Well, it's not. It's
It's a Wix site.
it's more complicated than that.
Yeah.
We'll have to link it somewhere so people can go to it.
It's beautiful.
It is. And it's got Drops of Jupiter on it by train.
Yeah, it does.
So if you were at the last, was that 2 episodes ago?
I have no idea.
Anyway, this is episode
Everything
99.
blurs together.
So the big one, next one's big 100. Mm-hmm. Do you want to celebrate? Should I get some? I hate balloons. Balloons are such a fucking waste.
Yeah, they really are.
Anyway,
Guys, did you know we had a helium shortage?
did you?
sorry.
Know,
This was years ago.
people.
I might have ADHD.
I'm kind of the crotchety old man at work, and I've accepted that. But very few things get me more worked up than people like either bring in balloons or talk about balloons. And I'm like, balloons are such a fucking waste.
Do you say it every time?
Every time. Because
I love that this is the hill you're going to die at. I'm over here just being a raging feminist
No.
about all our human rights, and I'm so angry about all this shit, and like this horrible dictator and all that, and you're like, fucking balloons are destroying the planet.
At least I can recycle a goddamn card if you're stupid enough to get me a card. Because like whatever, I don't want cards. Like I don't like cards. It's fine.
No, I'm just bad at picking them out. All of them I pick up and go,
No, cards, whatever. Like sure.
I have a few cards that are important. I like
Yeah.
I like a well thought out card
Yeah.
that I can hold on to.
Yeah, but whatever. Generic card, fine. That's fine. But like balloons, if you give me balloons, I'll be A, you don't know me that well, and B, like it's just a waste. Anyway.
Yeah, and like you said, you can't recycle them. They don't break
have
down.
All right, that's the crotchety old man in me.
And we're literally pulling resources out of the earth for something that stays floating for 2 days and then just pollutes the planet.
I'm not a 4-year-old. I don't find balloons entertaining.
No.
And that's anyway.
You've clearly never been on acid.
It's just a
Just
neither
kidding.
have you.
No,
It's just
that
a
was
waste.
a bad joke.
Yeah.
I'm speaking from experience.
Yeah.
That's why I said it like that.
Anyway, I don't even remember where this started. Just don't ever buy us
You're
balloons.
a crotchety old man.
No.
at work.
It was shamelessly plugging.
Oh,
We have stuff. We have a TikTok. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. Our new Patreon supporter. You guys are awesome. You help cover all the background costs to make this production / uploading / the reason you can hear this now.
Yep. And as always, fuck bridges and apparently fuck balloons.
Yes. I didn't even see it as a child. It's not like I have some weird PTSD. I just don't like balloons. I'm not afraid of them. I just think they're a waste. All
we'll
right?
talk about this trauma later.
Okay. Don't get me started on birthday candles. I swear to God. Anyway.
I'm the fun sucker.
Right? Yeah, you are. Whoa. Terrible jokes. We got to go. All right. Talk to you later. Goodbye.
Bye. Oof, that was terrible. Thanks for listening to our terrible podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at TMSTpod.
And if you'd like to support the show, you can find us on Patreon at Tell Me Something Terrible.